first thing that I'm going to do to help her out a little bit is ask her to get soft right there. If I can get her head down and get her soft vertically right here, then it's going to do so much more for lateral softness. You know, if her head's stuck up in the air and I try and get her soft laterally, it's going to be this big thing with a lot of pulling where she's going to drop it down. But if her head's already down, she's already softening to her halter and lead like this, I'll rub on her right here too to make sure she's not anticipating. But she's already softening right there. And when I step back and ask for that lateral, I'm going to take a couple steps back, add pressure, and then just hold. And right there, she's going to need a little more pressure coming out of this to start to teach her to look for me. And then I'll change sides. But this is going to be real good for her because one, it's going to work a lot on softness, you know, softening her head down vertically and then softening her head laterally, where sometimes she wants to pull. And it's also going to work on, she's going to lose me for a second as she turns. You know, she turns her hindquarters completely to me. And you can see right there, as soon as she wasn't paying any attention to me, she kind of looked off and she quit moving. You know, so if I, as soon as that hindquarter comes by me, add just a little bit more pressure until she looks at me, then she'll start to try and find me a little bit faster, and that'll hopefully add into more attention on the ground and eventually more attention on the saddle. Right there, when she goes to push on me, I just bump, bump, bump. Don't do that. I know people like it and they kind of think it's cute, but their heads feel like cinder blocks and you get knocked in the nose because you're not paying attention. Anytime you rub on it.
Now, is that a bad thing when she does it, or is it just, or is she playing, or just?
I don't know if she's itchy or, you know, whatever it may be. It's not very respectful to me. She probably, you know, if she's out in the field or something, she's a tree or a post. I'd like to be a little more important.
Mm-hmm.
You hardly ever see horses rub on one another like that to scratch. And like I said too, you know, they weigh a lot. They got a lot of muscle in their necks, and their heads are pretty bony. And if you're not paying any attention, they're standing over here doing something, and she decides to rub on you and not see the nose or something like that, it's not very pleasant. So as a general rule for me, I just kind of say, no, no, no. I can, you know, if I think you're itchy, I can reach out and rub on you, but you can't push on me. She can't add pressure on me, but I can put pressure on her.
So definitely not good to encourage that kind of behavior then.
No, no, I don't. Like I said, she'll go to, and it's not like she's, you know, it's not like she's a Mustang and she hasn't been handled and, you know, you really want to do a lot of rubbing and if they get a little overly confident with you, you're not too worried about it, so you can always back it up real quick. She's comfortable with people. She's not worried about me. But I asked for that head to come down, and like I said, once you kind of get that vertical softness in there, the lateral's going to get a lot better. Now when we start under saddle and stuff, you know, it's going to be lateral first, but right here and now we can go vertical, and I'll even ask before I'm going to have her turn. I don't want her to anticipate every time I ask her to drop her head. You know, you're turning. I want her to think, okay, drop my head because he's asking for me to lower my head and soften this halter. And then I want her to think when I'm asking her to turn, okay, pressure there. Look for the right answer. There. That's pretty good. I'm going to check the time real quick. I use a cell phone to do it. I'm not getting texts or anything.
No worries.
We got a little bit more time. Work on a few other things. One thing that I like to do, which I think will be good for her, but it might be a little difficult for her in the beginning, is ask a horse to walk off. And this is important because it plays into sensitivity, you know. Sometimes they get a little dull or they get anticipating that they need to trot around. And if you can ask them to walk off, you know, and really just kind of use just barely enough pressure to get them moving, you can kind of tell that they're paying attention and they're getting pretty soft for you. Now her, she'll probably feet up to a trot, but when I ask for a walk, I'm going to have my hand down, a little bit shorter of a lead rope, and just really build pressure right there. Pressure right there. Push it away. I'm not going to get after it too much, but the nice thing about being able to walk, I usually ask for a walk a couple times on each side at the beginning and end of a groundwork session. The nice thing about working at a walk is she can think a little bit better. So she's a little stiff on this side. The next time I ask for a walk, I can kind of play with her a little bit more about getting her nose over and getting soft for me at a walk. Better than I can at a trot or a lope because she can think. I'll ask again right here. And she's pulling. I just wait. And she says, okay. She says, this I can do. Being that she's pulling on me a lot less here at a walk, I can bump on her nose a little bit more. Where if I was at a trot or a lope and I really kind of bumped on her nose or gave her a quick tug on this lead rope, she'd probably stop. Here at a walk, though, because it's easy for her to keep going, instead of stopping, I can get that nose to come in a little bit. Just go to walk off the other way. Same thing, pressure on that shoulder. You're a bit close to me, huh? And I'm still going to tap her and get after her when I need to. For me, I look at it as walking's a reward for her right here. She worked hard. So now I'm asking, how sensitive can you be? But if she wants to get dull and not respond when I ask gently, I have no problem with tapping a little bit. Man, she says, now you woke me up. But I just remind her a couple of times to walk off. And anytime those feet hit a trot, I tell her, no. See how she's not there. I think she's not really moving her hindquarters. She's kind of running into my lead rope. So I stop her, stop right on her. Settle on my hindquarters a little bit more. And right about there, before she gets herself into trouble and suddenly decides she needs to trot, I'll say, good job. Stop right there. Pay attention, think, and she's doing these things pretty well. Like I said too, I just worry her just a little bit more with this lead rope. Where it's easy for her to kind of continue moving around. And if I need to, if I feel like she's being lazy, I'll add a little bit more pressure on those hindquarters because it's going to be easier for her. She's got her head lower. She's not pulling on me so much. So she says, okay, I can figure this out at a walk. I'll just wander off for a second. Lead her up. She's handling all this stuff really well. I'll walk over here. Right there, soft down. Don't push on me. I'm just going to finish up with swinging this overhead a little bit, slapping the ground with it. See if we can get a starting point today. But anytime she puts pressure on me, like even right there with her face, if she's pushing on my hand, I'm going to just bump her off of it.
So you're always keeping your hand right up there in the event.
Yeah, in case, that way she can't suddenly block me by moving her head over. Once I get more and more confident about a horse, I've only been working with her for a little while now. Once I get more and more confident with her, you'll start to see my hand drop just because I'm lazy. It's kind of a bad habit, but I keep my hand up here because if I don't, and she feels uncomfortable, she's blocking me, and if she were to run while her head's like that, or get a little uncomfortable, she's going to run into me. But right now, if she feels uncomfortable and goes to lunge forward, I can stop her before her shoulders get to me, or at least make sure I don't get run over by, kind of bumping her on her jawline right here and getting her to go out that way instead of coming in to me. So it's really just a safety thing, one, and two, I don't want her pushing on me. If she's got to be soft to me, I apply pressure to her. She's not applying any pressure to me. Because if she pushes on me when she's leading me, if I push on her, you know, I'm kind of leading her on. But she's real quiet about this, so we'll see. You know, I don't know if she's had this done, but I start off just once. You know, I'll do that a couple of times. I want to see if I can keep her thinking here. Instead of getting her uncomfortable and getting her thinking, she needs to move around. Now, generally, they all will kind of need to move around, and when they do, I just keep going. But it's going to take a little less time for her because she got the benefit of being able to just stand still those first few times. I'm going to wait until she completely stops here too and gets a little more accepting before I release. I'm not asking her to go anywhere. The way that she can tell that is like reading my body language. I'm not really looking at her. I'm not pointing in any direction there. She stands still. I slap the ground a few extra times. And then I just start over again.
Now, what's that get her to do?
Well, let's just make sure she's confident with my tools, you know, and it's also helping her read my body language. Right there, she really wasn't paying any attention. It's tough for her to read my body language when she's not looking at me, you know, but this is teaching her, too, the difference between me passively standing here and just sort of asking her to accept something, whatever it may be, and me actively looking at her and pointing somewhere and clicking to her and asking her to go somewhere. But again, I'm trying to build on how much she thinks. I want her to think her way through this and look at me a little bit more and say, you know, do I really have to move? Instead of just sort of rushing on. Or if you want to crack whips off of her, you know, really anything. You know, any kind of exposure that you can get where she's going to think, you know, the next time she encounters something like this, whether it's a plastic bag or something that makes her nervous, you're going to start building those pathways in the brain to, okay, you know, think before I just react to something.
Mm-hmm.
And double check with me, you know, your handler, your rider, before you spook and run off and stuff like that, you know. Make sure you absolutely have to run around. Don't expend any energy when you don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
And she's loosening her jaw. Because I've slapped the ground behind her a couple of times, you know, just when she got a little nasty about stuff and wanted to kind of tell me that she was thinking about kicking me. I told her to get moving forward, you know, with that string. So I want to make sure she can differentiate between when I'm asking her to move using that string and when I'm just